Hi. You know, I watched a lot of videos about manifestation. I'm sure you have too. And most of them, they're shared after the desire has already shown up. Someone tells you how they manifested the house, the partner, the money, after the fact though. And that's beautiful. But you rarely see the beginning, do you? You rarely see someone say, here's what I'm about to manifest, and here's what it looks like before it's visible. And that's what this video is, basically. You're not watching a conclusion, you're watching the creation. If you ever wanted to witness manifestation in real time, if you ever wondered what it looks like to live from the end before it arrives, here it is. I'm letting you in on the process, not just the outcome. And hopefully, it reminds you that your processes, they're sacred too. Right now, what am I manifesting? One of the things is a community of souls, I guess. And you're invited. It may take the form of a paid space, about the cost of a coffee each month, where we go deeper into the inner work, or a free space where you can simply be part of the field. You can choose one or both, whatever feels aligned to you. For me, I know I only need about 10 people, 10 souls in the paid space to begin, though I trust much more will come. And I sense the free community will blossom at least 1,000 people. But the deeper point is this: we are gathering, not to passively consume, but to embody, to live and breathe the teachings of Neville Goddard and others like him as well, I guess. Not just in theory, but in actual practice. In the quiet, in the dark, and in the visible light of day. And just so we're clear, I'm no guru, honestly. I still occasionally argue with my own affirmations. We're human after all. Progress over perfection, I guess. I'm not here to stand above or ahead. I'm learning every single day, and a lot of you guys also help me. Yeah, this is a journey, not a performance. One we walk together. The community, this community that I want, isn't built on answers. It's built on devotion and the willingness to grow in full view of one another, to witness each other rise, to hold space for each other's becoming, to remember why we actually came here, not just to survive, but to create, to love, to fulfill what we were meant to, what we were meant to express in this human experience. This video is my public assumption. It's not a test, it's a testament, a real-time unfolding of inner knowing crystallizing to the outer form. This isn't a masterclass. It's more like a mystical group project. And yep, you can sit right next to me. Let me be clear. I'm not wondering if people will join this community. I already know they're on their way. Some of them might even be watching now. It might even be you. I hope it is. In my inner world, they're already here. I feel their presence. I sense their readiness. I sense your readiness. I know your depth. I can already see us exchanging messages, sharing breakthroughs, growing together. So I'm not hoping this will happen. I'm living as it already has. And I trust that life is weaving the perfect bridge to bring us together in the right timing, with the right people, in exactly the way it's meant to unfold. Again, I'm not some expert standing at the top of a mountain handing out answers. I'm walking this path too, just like so many of us. I'm practicing, failing, revising, remembering, and becoming. This community, be it a free or a paid one, isn't about perfection, guys. It's about showing up, not as someone who's figured it all out, but as someone who's committed to living from the end, again and again, even when it's messy, and we know it is messy. I'm not looking for followers. I'm looking for fellow travelers, people who want to build this together, who want to support each other, and challenge each other, and remind each other of the power within. If that's you, which I feel it is, then you're already part of it. We're already connected, you know. And I can't wait to walk this with you. Let's deepen into this process together. I'll share what I've lived, what I've seen, and what you can embody too. Not just to build community, but to create anything from the soul outwards. Here is what I'm starting. Here is where I'm starting on this journey. Inner speech and the voice within. Your dominant inner conversations write your reality, you know. End of story. This isn't just a metaphor. This is mechanics. And I'll be honest, at first I told myself I need at least 10,000 subscribers before I could even suggest creating a community like this. I wanted it to look like a success before I let it become one. But then I realized that would go against the practice itself. What's the point? Because Neville didn't teach us to wait for the evidence. He taught us to embody the end, to become the version of us who already has it. Before the numbers, the proof, the outer signs. So I shifted. I started calling in this community from the inside out. And I began paying very close attention to what I was telling myself and what I was willing to believe instead. At first, doubts whisper. Who are you to teach this? Will they pay? Is this needed? I didn't fight those voices. I revised them gently, daily. I pause and respond from the future itself. And I say to myself, they are waiting for me, and I'm already guiding them. This inner work is quiet, tender, and relentless. You don't need to be loud. You need to be aligned. Wow, what's next? The bridge of incidents. That's what Neville called it. The subtle or dramatic events even that bring your assumption into reality. I assume this community already existed. I don't try to force it. I watch, I notice, I follow inspiration. I could see in the comments and the things that were happening around me, or in the video that caught the imagination of so many. Just as I was about to give up myself on this channel, a stranger reached out to collaborate. Someone gifted me a tool I needed. These are the bridges, you know. You don't build them, you cross them. But only if you stay in the state. So, that is the first lesson. If it looks like nothing is happening, check your state, not your stats. And as the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. That's what we're doing here, you know. Not talking about the wish, but living from it. Next up is that good old thought transmission and the energetic field. I believe in that sacred echo, the soul's ability to speak and be heard in the unseen. For weeks, I sat with this vision and simply radiated it. You're safe here. You're seen. You're coming home. This wasn't marketing. It was magnetic. people began to appear with uncanny timing, saying things like, "I don't know why, but I feel drawn to you. I heard your name in a dream." And just the other day, I found myself in a hospital, and I had to have some blood taken. And the guy who took the blood, I don't like blood taken. I don't like, it's not that it's painful. I just don't like a needle in my body. And the guy who took blood afterwards, he turned around to me and said, "You're a really good man." I said, "Oh, thank you for noticing." And I said, "What made you say that?" And he just looked up in the air and he said, "He told me." And that really has moved me. Because people do see you when you want to be seen, when you stop being who everyone else wants you to be and be your authentic self. This is real, Thought is a seed and state is the soil. When they align, reality grows accordingly. What's next? Somatic practice, living from that end, Let's pause and feel into this now, shall we? If you want to, sit back, close your eyes, take a full, deep, nourishing breath. And as you exhale, drop into the version of you that already has what you desire. Don't think about it, feel it. For me, I imagine that phone lighting up. Someone's joined your program. Someone thanked you for your work. Someone sent you love, unprompted. That is already happening. It's happening now. And I make a note of how it feels in my body. Then I let that sensation settle. Let it anchor. This is your new baseline. This is how the wish fulfilled lives in the body. Once I have that, then comes the good old revision and pruning the vine, as they say. What happens when we start to spiral? Because we will. Too few views, too little traction. Feel that contraction in your chest. Here comes the work. Close your eyes and revise that scene. I imagine seeing new subscribers, heartfelt comments, and someone saying, "I've been waiting for a space like this." I've already seen the effect of that, I remember going to sleep in the feeling of impact. 48 hours later, I received messages, all saying, "I want more, thank you." Don't forget, prune that vine again and again. Not because your old beliefs were bad, but because your new ones, they're much better. So, paid or unpaid, the sacred role of money. This paid community, and that's a good thing, I guess. Money is energy, and energy moves to where it is honored. When someone pays, they commit. They show up differently, and you do too. I don't fear charging for sacred work. I trust it. I see it as an exchange of devotion, one that multiplies the transformation on both sides. Funny, just remembered something. I was practicing Kung Fu last week, and we were talking about the old teacher. And one thing that we spoke about that my friend told me was, he asked him, "Where do you learn the most from?" And he said, "My students." It was interesting. So, even though I will give a free community also, I'm not afraid to charge. I revise that fear. Imagine receiving payment with ease and gratitude. Imagine hearing someone say, "It was worth every cent." Like Marcus Aurelius once said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." That's the sacred pause, the delay, the mess. It's not a block, it's a bridge. The next step for me is journaling and self-declaration. If you want to, I'll do this later. Take a pen and take a breath and write this down. I'm already living the reality I once desired. I walk with people who match my soul. I am safe to receive. I am safe to lead. Say it out loud, again and again, until it feels true. Because once it feels true, it must become real. There's no choice. But delays, they will happen, and trust them. Sometimes there's a pause, a sacred gap between planting the seed and seeing that bloom. That's not failure. That's gestation. Or gestation. Gestation. I've learned to honor that delay, to feel the gap and to not rush to fill it. Fill it with either fear. Instead, I fill it with presence, with certainty, with trust. The delay is not a denial, it's a deepening. Living from that end. So here I am, living it. Not waiting, not hoping, being. I lead this community right now, in state, in soul, in preparation. And because I do, the world can do nothing but respond. From follows frequency, the people arrive, the circle grows, the gates open wider, and you get to watch it all in action. Reflection and invitation. If you watch this far, you're already part of it, you know. You're already in the resonance field. You're not just curious, you're called. So, declare it in the comments. Or privately, say, I'm ready, or I believe, or it's already done. And if your soul says yes to walking with me, to learning, practicing, remembering, reach out in those comments. The space is real and is forming now. Here's something I want to ask you. And I want you to really feel into this. Not just think about it, feel it. Would you want to be part of a community like this? A space where someone like Neville and many others, teachings aren't just discussed, they're lived. Where we don't just talk about shifting identity, we practice it together. Would you want to be in that space if it were free? Would you feel more committed if it was paid? Or maybe both. It's all good. A layered ecosystem, I guess, where you choose how deeply you want to step in. Let me know in the comments or speak it out loud to yourself. Notice how your body responds. This isn't a funnel, it's a field. And I'm listening because you, yes you, are already shaping what this becomes, you know. And just to show you how this works across the board, I'm also going to have some envelopes. They'll be sealed, each one holding a different desire I'm currently manifesting. And write them all down. I've assumed the end. I'll seal them up, not because they're a secret, but because they're sacred. When they come true, maybe I'll have them with you. It'll be fun, won't it? This is my way of walking the talk. This is how I live manifestation. Not as a concept, but as a daily embodiment. Let's deepen into this process together, shall we? I'll share what I lived, what I've seen, and what you can embody too. Not just to build a community, but to create anything from the soul outward. I love you. And I live with the feeling of you beside me every day. If this video stirred something in you, like, subscribe, share it with someone who is becoming. Let them know the bridge is real, the vision is alive, and we're walking it together. And I'll see you in the next video where I will have a chat with AI and see what it thinks about all this. Until then, you know, take care.